All right, welcome to the BIPOC Study Abroad session. I hope everyone is enjoying the virtual Study Abroad fair. I know that we have a range of sessions for people looking at summer abroad. We have panel discussions with past participants, and we have some specialty presentations um, for students as well. Just a few housekeeping notes that I wanted to point out. A lot of the information that we're going to cover today, you can find at www.ulguelph.ca/CIP. I also wanted to address the COVID situation. Obviously, we know that student travel is on hold at the moment. The winter semester has also been canceled, but we're confident that when the timing is right, we'll be able to put students back onto planes to experience the best parts of this world. So if you do have questions about COVID, you can also check out our website. There's a frequently asked question section there regarding COVID-related concerns or questions that you may have. If there's one take-home message that I would want to emphasize in this presentation is that the Center for International Programs is committed and dedicated to making student travel more inclusive and more accessible, especially for students who identify as Black, Indigenous, or persons of color. All right. Just as a quick Mike, I'm an education abroad advisor for science and engineering. If ever you have questions about study abroad, you can always email me or book an appointment. We have a great leadership team at the Center for International Programs, a great support team. We have amazing peer helpers who are all past exchange students who are there to help answer your questions. If you are a student in the arts, social science, or commerce, you can always book an appointment with Chen, as she would be your education abroad advisor. As well, if you have general inquiries, you can always email Jacqueline, who serves as our international education intern. So there's many ways to get in touch and many ways to have your questions answered. All right, so in this session, there are a few things that we're going to talk about. First of all, we'll make the case for study abroad and tell you why it's going to be hopefully the best thing you've done in your university career. We'll explore issues of identity and travel. We'll talk about some student supports and next steps as well. So I know for me, growing up, I was always one to aspire to travel abroad. My mom was an immigrant from the Philippines, and I always thought, wow, if she could move all the way here, I could definitely get on a plane myself. So my advice for any student is that if you find yourself to be resilient, open-minded, flexible, and adaptable, you have the qualities to thrive in a study abroad session. For me, one of my earliest trips was as a university student myself. I saw one of those posters in the hallway looking for students to travel to Peru, and I did it, and it was one of the most incredible summers that I got to experience. In the following year, I made my way with a group of students to Venezuela. And then after graduating, one of the first jobs I had was through Global Affairs Canada as an intern in Namibia. So I think those early travel experiences allowed me to sort of build my or internationalize my resume and help me pursue a career in international development as well. In terms of making the case for study abroad, I think one thing students gain a lot from travel is perspective. I think travel is a great way for students to discover who you are, where you're from, what you want to do with your life, and also what you're made out of. I know for sure another great advantage is being able to meet friends from around the world. In my own travel situations, I've met students from Norway and Egypt and Chile and India, and when I went to travel to those countries myself, those students would help host me, take me around, give me some advice as well. So it's a great way to expand your international network. In terms of academics, as an education abroad advisor, I often hear stories of students coming back and taking really interesting and unique courses. So you have students, for example, who will go to New Zealand and study courses about Maori culture, or you'll have students make their way to Japan and they'll learn about Japanese customs and traditions. You'll have students who make their way to Sweden and they'll learn about Sweden's culture and social norms towards sustainability. So I think there's a whole gamut of academic courses that are now open to students who participate in study abroad. And as I mentioned, study abroad is a great way to build your intercultural skills and to prepare and to be more competitive in an increasingly diverse and globalized workplace. So that's the case for study abroad. I think for a lot of students, sometimes they have this preconceived notion that study abroad is only a semester exchange, or that it's super expensive, or you're participating in this experience all by yourself. There are a few key points that I kind of want to reiterate. Study abroad isn't just semester abroad. We have short-term summer programs. We have field schools where you travel with a group of students. You travel with a university professor. Some of these short-term summer programs are only a few weeks long in May and June, which still allows you to work for part of the summer as well. In terms of study abroad being affordable, one point I want to emphasize is that for University of Guelph students who are going on an exchange, you're essentially paying University of Guelph tuition. So you're not having to pay international tuition fees for an international experience. You would also qualify for OSAP if you require OSAP. And I would also encourage students to simply Google University of Guelph travel grants. And you'll see that there are tons of scholarships and bursaries available for students, either through Student Financial Services, either through your department, or from external funders as well. And I also want to emphasize that the social component of study abroad. So for those students who may have not traveled much before, there are opportunities through field schools to participate in prearranged programs with the University of Guelph professor, to travel in a group as well. We offer traveler connection nights that allow students to network and participate, or to network and socialize with past exchange students, as well as to meet other students who may be traveling to the same country as you. So there's lots of ways to network and to make some connections. If you look at this map, you'll see that we have over 100 partner universities in 30 plus countries. If you're interested in doing a study abroad placement in the UK or Europe. There's a ton of options there. We also have destinations in Asia, in Australia, New Zealand, Fiji. There's opportunities at the University of Ghana, as well as some opportunities in Central and South America. So if you can imagine it, there's opportunities for you to participate in a study abroad program. In recent years, we've had field schools to Ecuador, Nepal, Mexico, Italy, and Ghana. I know for many students, they always come back quite excited about their opportunity to study Spanish, for example, in the University of Malaga in the south of Spain, or conduct research in the summer in various locations like the UK, Germany, and France. While this session is essentially for BIPOC students, I did want to touch on this connection between travel and identity. When you do travel, you have the opportunity to explore different cultural norms, stereotypes, and biases. Traveling also provides you an opportunity to explore history and current events from different perspectives. And travel also gives you an opportunity to explore issues of globalization, colonization, and Indigenous issues, from providing further insights into issues of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Now, if you are a BIPOC student, there are some questions you might want to consider reflecting on. For example, how might issues of power and privilege impact your experience? How might you be perceived based on your social identity? If you experience racism or discrimination, how might you react? And how would you approach culturally sensitive topics? There are definitely some questions you should think about when selecting a host country. For example, thinking about the demographics of the host country and why this is important. You might want to do some research in terms of the laws or attitudes that affect aspects of your identity abroad. You should consider looking at the political climate of the host country and thinking about the relationship between your home and host country, and how, for example, immigration issues are viewed in the host country as well. If you are a BIPOC student, in terms of tips and advice, I would definitely encourage you to explore affinity groups and join local clubs and organizations to grow your social network, to take advantages of the services provided by your host institution, as well as the University of Guelph, to anticipate how issues of identity might be experienced across cultures, and to definitely be informed and to keep and to put safety first. For Indigenous students, I did want to emphasize that we do have a partnership with RMIT in Melbourne, and they do offer a specific scholarship for Indigenous students called the Endeavour Leadership Scholarship. It's approximately 4,000 Australian dollars. At last check with RMIT, that scholarship was still available for prospective Indigenous students. We would also work with our partners at the host institution to connect you with the partners Indigenous Resource Center there, so you'll be able to connect with them, use their resources, connect with the elders, and meet other Indigenous students. And one other aspect or point that I would emphasize is that if you're interested in Indigenous studies, being open to study abroad would allow you to kind of expand your course options and pursue these interests from a different country and cultural context. In terms of BIPOC supports, I would encourage BIPOC students to, if you haven't done so already, to look at some of the services and supports provided by the Cultural Diversity Team. Their website is www.uoguelph.ca/student experience/cultural diversity. You'll see once you head to that link that there's a number of BIPOC networking events that are available to students, as well as specific financial resources available for BIPOC students. In terms of what the Center for International Programs can offer, we do offer supports in these categories. So again, if you're looking for financial supports, we can connect you to the various scholarships, grants, and bursaries that are available through Student Financial Services. We also offer a very comprehensive pre-departure program called Depart Smart that covers a lot of your safety and health questions or concerns you might have. So if you have questions about emergency situations, health insurance, mental health supports, the role of the Canadian government, vaccinations, these are some of the topics that we would cover in Depart Smart. In terms of working from the academic standpoint, all students would be working with their program counselor to make sure that their credits and courses can transfer over easily. If you require any accommodations or learning supports, we would work with the host institution to make sure that your needs are being met while abroad. In terms of the social components, as I mentioned, we offer the Travelers Connection Night. As you can imagine, we send hundreds of students abroad every year, so there's a huge network of past participants. So if you're going to find yourself in Iceland and you wanted to find a previous student who went to a specific school, we can try and put you in touch with a past participant as well. So as I mentioned, there's various social opportunities for you to get support in. And in terms of logistics, so if you have questions about visas or passports or flights or general study abroad inquiries, you can always speak with one of our peer helpers. They're all past study abroad participants. You can email cip@uoguelph.ca. Our office will happily answer your general inquiries. If you wanted to have a one-on-one meeting, that's possible as well. You can always book a meeting with your education abroad advisor to go over some of the logistical supports that you might encounter while being abroad. So in terms of next steps, I would really encourage anyone to go to our website. As you may have seen, we've been running weekly explore sessions, exploring different geographical regions around the world. So there's lots of information, there's lots of frequently asked questions on our websites, and there's also a program search function. So if you wanted to really start thinking about your options, where you might want to go, what school you're interested in, you can come to this program search and do some specific research to get a better idea of some of the travel and living costs or courses and deadlines that are applicable to your interests. So again, as I mentioned, the Study Abroad program search is available for you. You can explore by region or by academic interest as well. You can always filter through the search. Maybe there's a specific country that you want to go to. So for example, if you're interested in Australia, it'll list the dozen partners that we have there, and then you can kind of go through the search tools to get a better idea. It will tell you some of the courses that are available. It will tell you the semester dates, give you an idea of where this host institution is located on the map, as well as some links to that host institution. So you can definitely do some more research along the way and get a better feel for the different schools and partners that we have. In terms of next steps, I would just remind students that the majority of the applications are due at the end of January. As I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, we will be making a decision about summer 2021, and students will find out about that likely by late December to early January. Students would submit their top 5 choices, and then we would try to slot students into the program of their choice. Obviously, it's a competitive process, but we try to place students and meet their interests as well. To apply, students would need a minimum of a 70% average, cumulative average. So we would ask students to wait until their fall semester grades are in before formally applying. If for some reason your grade point average falls slightly below 70%, there is an opportunity for you to state your case, and we would take that into consideration as well. Essentially, by early March, students would find out where they are placed, and then there would be some follow-up sessions to help support students in terms of their application to the host institution, their course selection forms, the Depart Smart pre-departure training, as well as any visa, passport supports that might be required as well. So that sort of gives you an overview of the timelines. I would say for sure, definitely between now and then, if you do have questions, you can always email us at cip@uoguelph.ca. And this email address is also used to give you access or to request access to an information session. So we ask students to take the information session online, so you'll have more details and to help you throughout this process. All right, so I think I covered most of those points. Obviously, if you do have questions, you can always email us and we'd be happy to discuss with you further. So in terms of moving forwards, I would definitely encourage all students to join us on Instagram. Our handle is CIP_Guelph. You can also visit our Facebook page. If you go there today, you'll see that there's some incredible photos that were selected for our photo contest. So you can go there and see some of the experiences that Guelph students have had this previous fall and winter semester. And I would encourage you also to follow us on Twitter so you can get a little more of the information along the way. So as I mentioned, the Center for International Programs is committed to making study abroad much more accessible and inclusive in the future. You'll see that part of our plans are to ensure that students see themselves in our marketing materials, and that we're making a collective effort to reach out to diverse groups on campus to promote study abroad opportunities. So with that said, I know that we're just about to wrap up here. My final thoughts are to definitely find out more online at our website and to follow us on these social media feeds. As well, if you're interested in booking a meeting with myself or with someone from the team, we're more than happy to sit down with you and help answer your questions. So I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoy the Study Abroad virtual fair. There's more sessions today and tomorrow, and these sessions are being recorded, so you will be able to go back and view them as well. I know that in November, we're also hosting another Explore session that's going to be looking at some opportunities with partner institutions in the Global South. So that's something that you might want to explore as well. So thank you for attending the session. Again, I hope you are considering your options, because the day will come when we are able to travel again, and it's our role to help support you in chasing that opportunity and enriching your experience here at Guelph. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the sessions, and feel free to get in touch. Thank you.